Some movement in the front office is happening at the Indiana Fever. The team announcing a former Dallas Wings executive will now be the general manager.
Did you catch that playoff game against the Sun? Caitlin Clark dropped 25 points, but Coach Sides didn't use her in the clutch. Fans were furious. Is this why the Fever are making changes? Let's talk about Clark's performance. She was on fire, scoring from everywhere and making plays like a seasoned pro. 9 rebounds and 6 assists. That's insane for a rookie. But here's where things got weird. Late in the game, when it really mattered, Coach Sides kept Clark on the bench. Can you imagine? The fans were losing it. You could feel the tension in the arena. People were yelling, pointing at Clark, wondering why their star player wasn't in the game.
Yeah, that's right. Amber Cox will be the team's new chief operating officer and general manager. She's been in the business for more than 20 years.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
But what about current general manager Lynn Dunn? Well, she's staying with the team, but will move into a new position as senior advisor to Fever basketball.
You know what's crazier? This might be why the Fever is shaking things up upstairs. Did Sides' decision cost them the game? What do you think? The team's making some big moves, and we're about to find out why. Remember when I said the Fever were making big moves? Well, they just dropped a bombshell that's got the whole league talking. New management, new direction, and possibly a new coach. But here's the kicker. Clark's all for it. What does she know that we don't? The Indiana Fever just pulled off a major shakeup at the top. They brought in Amber Cox as the new chief operating officer and general manager. This isn't just some small change. It's a complete overhaul of how the team operates. Cox is now reporting directly to team president Kelly Crosscup, which means big shifts in how the Fever handled their basketball operations and overall strategy.
She's worked for the Dallas Wings, the Connecticut Sun, and the Phoenix Mercury. She even had a hand in drafting Brittany Griner in 2013. She'll officially join the Fever's roster October 28th.
You know what's wild? Caitlin Clark is totally on board with these changes. It's like she's got insider info or something. This could be huge for her influence within the franchise. Think about it. The Fever are probably looking to make the most of Clark's insane popularity, and these management changes might be just a ticket. Speaking of Clark's impact, let's talk numbers. Since she joined the team, ticket sales have gone through the roof. Merchandise flying off the shelves. It's clear that Clark isn't just a player, she's a whole business strategy for the Fever. But here's where things get really interesting. What about Coach Christy Sides? She's been doing great, even got a Coach of the Year vote. But with new management comes new ideas, and sometimes that means bringing in their own people. Is Sides' job on the line? It's hard to say, but you can bet she's feeling the heat. Remember that playoff game where Sides kept Clark on the bench during crunch time? That decision might be coming back to haunt her now. New management usually means a fresh start, and they might be looking at that game as a reason to make changes. Clark's been pretty vocal about what she needs from her coaches. She's mentioned not getting enough in-game advice. That's a big deal for a rookie, even one as talented as Clark. It makes you wonder, is there a disconnect between Clark and Sides? And if there is, how will that play into the new management's decisions? The Fever are clearly serious about turning things around. They've got Clark, they've got new management, and they're riding a wave of excitement from fans. But will all these changes translate to success on the court? That's the million-dollar question. One thing's for sure, the Fever aren't messing around. They're going all in on building a winning team around Clark. These front office changes show they're committed to improving and capitalizing on the buzz from Clark's rookie season. It's a bold move, but in the WNBA, sometimes you've got to take risks to get ahead. While the front office is making moves, there's a storm brewing on the sidelines. Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation, is calling out her own coach. You'd think a #1 draft pick and her coach would be in sync, but this duo, they're anything but. Clark's been open about her frustrations with the coaching staff. She straight up said, "Nobody gives me advice in game. I wish." That's a pretty bold statement from a rookie, don't you think? It's like she's on an island out there trying to figure things out on her own. But here's where it gets even wilder. Coach Sides is pushing Clark to be more aggressive, especially when it matters most. She's been noticing that Clark's passing up open shots in the fourth quarter. Sides said, "We've had a lot of conversations in the last 24 hours about a lot of shots that she needs to take that she wasn't taking. It's like they're speaking two different languages on the court. Remember that playoff game against the Sun? Clark was on fire, scoring 25 points. But when it came to crunch time, Sides kept her on the bench. Fans were losing their minds. One person even said, 'In the clutch with your first team All-WNBA guard not touching the ball on 3 straight possessions.' Unbelievable. And you know what? They're not wrong. It's like Clark and Sides are playing a game of basketball tug of war. Sides wants Clark to shoot more, but then doesn't play her in critical moments. Clark wants more guidance during the game, but isn't getting it. How long can this go on before something's got to give?" This disconnect between star player and coach could be a huge problem for the Fever. Clark's not just any rookie. She's the face of the franchise now. If she's not happy with the coaching, that could spell trouble for Sides' future with the team. Think about it. The Fever just made all these big changes in the front office. They're clearly trying to build around Clark. If she's not clicking with her coach, how long before the new management starts looking for someone who will? It's like a ticking time bomb. But here's the thing. It's not all doom and gloom. If Clark and Sides can get on the same page, they could be an unstoppable duo. Imagine Clark's talent with Sides' experience. That could be the recipe for a championship team. The big question is, can they figure it out? Will Clark start taking those shots Sides wants her to take? Will Sides give Clark the in-game advice she's looking for? Or are we watching the beginning of the end for this coach-player relationship? You'd think having Caitlin Clark would make everyone happy. But guess what? The Fever are caught in a tug-of-war between what the fans want and what the team needs. And it's getting ugly. Fever fans are on fire, and not in a good way. They've got Clark, they've got talent, so why aren't they winning? It's like they're watching two different games, the one they want to see and the one the team's actually playing. Let's talk about those fans for a second. They're passionate, they're loud, and they're not afraid to speak their mind. When Clark joined the team, expectations went through the roof. Fans were dreaming of championships, all-star games, you name it. And can you blame them? Clark's not just good, she's a game changer. But here's the thing, the team's got a different playbook. They're thinking long-term, building for the future. It's like they're playing chess while the fans are yelling for checkers. The front office is making moves, bringing in new management, shaking things up. But for the fans, it's not enough. They want wins, and they want them now. And then there's Coach Sides. Oh boy, has she been taking heat. Remember that playoff game against the Sun? Fans are still fuming about her decision to keep Clark on the bench during crunch time. One fan even said, "Christy Sides has to be fired. She's mediocre as a coach and is just not able to rise to these moments." Ouch. That's gotta sting. But it's not just the fans. Even analysts are scratching their heads over some of Sides' decisions. It's like watching a pressure cooker about to blow. The criticism is getting louder, and you gotta wonder, how much more can Sides take? Here's where things get interesting. Despite all the drama, there's still hope. The Fever have got some serious young talent. Clark's not the only star in the making. Aaliyah Boston, she's been turning heads too. These two could be the foundation of something special. And let's not forget, the off season's coming up. That means trades, free agents, all sorts of possibilities. The Fever could make some big moves to support Clark and Boston. Imagine if they bring in a veteran player to mentor these young stars, or what if they snag a free agent that perfectly complements Clark's playing style? But here's the million-dollar question. Can the Fever find a way to make everyone happy? The fans want instant success. The front office is playing the long game, and caught in the middle, Clark and her teammates trying to perform under all this pressure. It's like the Fever are trying to bake a cake, but everyone's arguing over the recipe. The fans want it now, even if it's half-baked. The team wants to get all the ingredients just right, even if it takes longer. And poor Clark's stuck in the kitchen trying to make magic happen with whatever she's given. You've got to wonder, what would you do if you were running the Fever? Would you go all in for immediate success to keep the fans happy? Or would you stick to a long-term plan, even if it means some growing pain? So, what's next for the Fever? They've got talent, new management, and a whole lot of drama. Fans are hungry for wins, but the team's playing the long game. It's like trying to build a championship team while the crowd's screaming for instant results. Here's the thing, Clark and Boston could be the start of something big. Add in some smart moves during the offseason, and we might see a whole new Fever. But can they keep the fans happy while they're figuring it all out? Imagine you're running the show. Do you go all in for quick wins to keep the fans off your back? Or do you stick to the plan, even if it means some tough times ahead? It's not an easy call, but that's the kind of decision that can make or break a franchise.